Stevewolbach has found a great source of encouragement from God through family radio. He is replaying this message using his version. He is not affiliated or connected in any way with family radio WKDN, 950 AM in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Check out the site to hear many other stories like this one. Because of the profound stories, Steve wants to share them with others. And now, the story. You know, this world we live in will often insist that we do things either this way or that way. But is there a third choice? Writer John Ross shares this experience. I was visiting the city of Wolbach, Germany. And late one night I boarded a commuter train headed for an outlying suburb. This train was completely empty at that late hour. At the next stop, an elderly man dressed in just rags and clearly suffering from a mental disability shuffled into the car, followed closely by 4 teenagers who were laughing and talking loudly. Immediately their attention focused on this old man who had seated himself near the center doors of the train. The 4 teenagers began to taunt him, shouting obscenities and mocking his mental condition. Then one of the teens shook up a can of beer and aimed the foamy spray directly into the old man's face. It got worse. They began kicking the elderly man's legs with their heavy boots and punching him in the arms and in the face. John Roth says he was seated toward the back of the car and watched with a mixture of horror and fear as this terrible scene unfolded in front of him. I'm not a big person. I'm not trained in any of the martial arts, and I've never considered myself particularly brave, but as a Christian, I knew that I couldn't just sit back and watch this helpless old man be mercilessly beaten. What should I do? What could I do? I whispered a deep prayer to God. Please calm my fear and show me the right thing to do. And then, without really giving my next move any careful thought, I got out of my seat and I walked toward that old man and his attackers. Out of my mouth I yelled with my best German accent these words: "Hans, how are you? It's been such a long time since we've seen each other." I slipped between Hans and 2 of the teenagers and hugged the old man, helping him to his feet. I said, "Come sit with me, Hans, we have so much to catch up on." The old man followed me toward the rear of the train car and slid into the window seat. The teenagers watched us, not sure how they should respond. For a while they talked among themselves, but when the train pulled into the next stop they got out. At the following stop, Hans left as well, as he mumbled a word of thanks in my direction. On that late-night train in Germany, God had answered my whispered prayer and had allowed me to show a love to that old man. John Ross adds this: the prevailing wisdom in our culture tells us that there are 2 ways to respond to fear. Either a cowardly retreat or a fight to the finish. But the beauty and power of the gospel is that Jesus offers us a third alternative: to trust in God and in the transforming, surprising power of love. 1 John chapter 4 verse 18 assures us there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear.